Summer opens in seaside Southport. Ava returns home to see her old comrades. A woman goes to visit her friend Danika, who. The couple celebrates their engagement to Teddy's friend, a wealthy heir. Local building developer Grant, who transformed. Southport has been transformed. A fishing village has become a resort. Milo, Ava's ex-lover, is also present at the meeting. Late in the evening, close comrades were left alone to see fireworks in honor of Independence Day. Milo, remembering the past, calls to smoke weed outside the city, and the rest of the group express their agreement. Next to the car, they see people cleaning up the containers after the event. Working girls, an old friend of Stevie's, with whom they had not spoken for a long time, is one of them. They kept in touch while she was being treated. They call Stevie to join so that the group can reunite. The whole team is assembled. Drunk youth rushing in a car along a winding road. The path stretches along the seacoast. During the fireworks, the heroes freeze in the center. People line the roads, watching. A car is visible in the distance, but Teddy is standing on the highway, boldly blocking the path. At the last moment, Milo pulls his friend away from danger, until the brain leaked out onto the sidewalk. The young men, immersed in the squabble, lose sight of an important detail. Next car. He swerves sharply, breaks the barrier and freezes. A story about mental anguish. The guys try to save the driver before the car crashes. In the abyss, but in vain due to the mass of the apparatus. Descending. Takes the unfortunate person with him. Ava urges you to call for help immediately. Teddy claims that the victim cannot be brought back. Then they will avoid trouble by remaining silent. They will remain silent. Otherwise, they will be charged with manslaughter. Danika provides support to her betrothed. Accidents happen regularly on the highway, and none of them happen. This is not a dance floor. Sora is killed by Teddy. He informed the rescuers and offers to go to the department and testify, but having met the police on the road, the young man missed them. Turns home. The guys jointly decide to keep what happened secret. Under pressure from her friends, Ava makes a promise to no one. Speak and then leaves. Exactly a year later, she returns to Southport again for Danica's next engagement. The girl calls Mela to meet her and Tyler, true crime podcaster she met. On the plane, Tyler came to town to look into the 27-year-old's case. Ago, when a maniac dressed as a fisherman shredded. Stupid youth with a fishing hook. Ava meets Stevie at the scene. It turns out that a new henchman, Danica White, has appeared when their relationship with Teddy went wrong. After the incident and the engagement, the guy changed a lot. Danica discovered an envelope while opening gifts, with a card that said, "I know what you did last summer." Calling her friends aside, the newly made bride says it's Teddy's joke. So he tries to take revenge on her, reminding her of the accident when one Sam Cooper died, leaving the bride with the guests the friends go to. Ex-fiance living on a yacht to sort things out, but he denies his involvement. In the evening, Danica, to recover after a heavy holiday day, takes a bath, listening to meditation manuals along the way. Her new guy is lashing out like a prolator at this time, crown from the throat in the kitchen. Suddenly, he notices that someone outside has turned on pool lighting. When the light goes out, White decides it was an accident, but then they shoot at him from outside with a fishing gun. The shooter drags the victim towards him, but the guy resists, tearing out the arrow with meat. The killer shoots him again and drags him to himself so that finish off with a fishing hook. Bursting with purity and fresh makeup, Danica came down, finds the corpse of the faithful and an inscription in blood. "You are not. Get rid of the past." Later, at the police station, the friends gather again. Together, including Teddy. His father Grant agreed with the sheriff so that near the house, the girls were on patrol duty. Ava stays overnight at a friend's, admitting that, regrets that they have not communicated for a whole year. The next morning, friends discuss what happened. Mila remembers Ava's friend from the plane, who is crazy, on real murders. A quick search of her podcast brings up a story about a fisherman killing young people who had the accident. Everything is as in their case, including the note, "I know that you. I did it last summer." However, it is difficult to find information about this on the internet. Teddy's father paid a lot of money to clean everything up. Such gossip scared away investors and tourists. Ava meets with Tyler in person to find out what. That's what is known. She talks about Julie, a survivor of the massacre, after which brings a new girlfriend to a restaurant where in 1997, killed one of the victims, Helen Shivers. When she goes looking for clues, Ava sees A stranger in a fishing raincoat, mistaking him for Tyler, but she's on the second floor. Telling her friend to run, the girl grabs a knife and gives it to the maniac. Fight back by slashing his arm. Ava locks herself in the freezer, where she waits for the killer to leave. When he leaves, she goes out and meets Tyler. Ava then gets caught in a coffin trap and advises bloggers run. She does just that, climbing up the grocery lift to the second floor. The killer tries to stop her, but to no avail. In the attic, Tyler still falls into his clutches. He grabs her, depriving her of oxygen. In the finale, she takes off her mask, recognizing him. Beneath it is a form. Ava picks the lock of the coffin trap and runs to the door behind which Stevie is about to appear. Having opened the hatch, the heroine goes out to her friend upstairs. Tyler is suddenly found hanged. The police are silent about the investigation. The search for the killer continues. Ava recognizes the need for help from someone who has experienced similar circumstances. Hello, Julie. She teaches psychology classes at a nearby university. Upon discovering the woman, Ava is faced with reluctance to speak. We're talking about murders, but the visitor says support is required, realizing that the counterpart acted in the same way. Julie and her comrades in the past. She tells who it could be. He did not avenge Sam Cooper, but knew him personally. So, you need to find out everything about Sam. This will reveal the identity of the criminal. At a town hall meeting, Sheriff Grant explains the demise. Tyler is a figment of a mind that denies reality. Medications in order to avoid publicity and not frighten off those interested. Sam Cooper's accident was explained away by blaming him on drugs. And correcting his personal file, the young men realize this will make it easier for the killer. He categorically objects. Suddenly, Ray takes their side. Another survivor of the events of '97, Julie's ex-husband. He tells officials that this has already happened. In their settlement, Ray is Stevie's boss, and she introduces them. He called his friends to the pub to discuss the situation. Teddy comes up with an easy solution. Take a boat. Move away. However, the hero objects, advising another solution. Find out at least some information about Cooper. For example, find out the owner of car. The team disperses. Ava, Mila, and Stevie go to the junkyard for a scam deal. It turns out that the wrecked car was delivered a year ago. It was the property of the parish priest of Gillespie. Danica and Teddy visit the churchyard. The girl discovers the graves of victims of bygone times. Similar carnage. The couple, seeing fresh flowers on Cooper's grave, become interested. Study the video materials and identify who left them. But when the man plays the notes, he is attacked. The executioner takes a life by cutting the neck. Teddy and Danica, hoping for information, go their separate ways. Immediately, the killer attacks the heroine, escaping from him. She escapes. Danica takes refuge in the closet, but the killer discovers her. Having put his head on the girl so that she doesn't rock the boat he wants. Finish what you started. But then Teddy appears and pushes the killer. Deciding that now is not the best time, the maniac runs away. Danica, bruised all over her head, is brought home, where the rest of the friends gathered. They decide to stay in the same house. Secluded in the bedroom, Ava and Mela try to resume relationship, but the girl's new addictions to rough sex scare the guy away. Mila goes to the car to collect her thoughts, and when wants to return, the door does not open. He goes to Ava's window to knock, but then the killer attacks and strangles. Unsatisfied and upset, Ava sees Miles' car. She writes him a message, which is answered by a maniac. They say, "I need to be alone." In the morning, Danica and Ava head to church to grind, with the Reverend for the car. Taking advantage of the fact that he is not there, Danica, under the specious, makes an excuse to sneak into his office to look. Evidence implicating the priest. In one of the books, the girl finds photographs of Gillespie with Sam Cooper. Ava meets the pastor himself, whom she distracts with conversations about how difficult it is to experience what is happening. The priest wants to give her a book of advice. As he walks towards the office, Ava warns with a message. Friend, she manages to hide in the closet, although the Reverend noticed that someone was rummaging through his things. He didn't find anything. Undertakes. After getting out of the church, the girls go to the police to accuse Pudra in murder. The sheriff promises to detain him, but instead, after consulting Grant, locks the girls so that they don't fuss underfoot. Interfering with the investigation, Teddy heads to the rocking chair. While soaking in the steam room, he notices an inscription on Foggy Glass, you're next. In the evening, admiring the festive fireworks on the terrace of the house. He notices that the gate is jammed. He goes to the control panel to turn it on and off, where he is attacked by a killer. Having received several wounds, the well-fed Major knocks out. Maniac, and instead of finishing him off, spits at him, bleeding and crawling towards the house. Because of the fireworks and music, the father does not hear his son's screams. When the killer wakes up and continues to chop him up, dragging away, only when the whiskey in the glass is finished does Grant come out. He sees Teddy wounded, but his son acts as bait. While his father hugs him and calls for help from behind, a fisherman sneaks up to hook the oligarch. Waking up in the police station, Danica leaves the room, getting to the assembly hall. She sees the corpse of her last groom and standing over him. Beauty Queen Helen Shivers, killed in '97. The girl saw her grave in the cemetery. Helen blames Danica for the death of her boyfriend before, then to begin to decompose right before our eyes, like a vampire, pierced by an aspen stake. It turns out to be a nightmare, but in reality things are no better. The girls are released, but the reason is that the corpses of Grant and Teddy was hung out for everyone to see. Ray advises Stevie and her friends to take a yacht and get away. Now this solution seems acceptable. Noticing Miles' car, the girls run towards him, but only to discover yet another cold corpse. Suspecting that the pastor is really a maniac, the sheriff sends a detachment after him. The policeman finds the priest in the chapel in a position of prayer, but this is just an illusion. He is killed and recorded. In the room, the policeman's gaze falls on the photograph. A group of young people and a priest are being trained. Recovery. The photo shows Sam Cooper being hugged by Stevie. On the yacht, a maniac in a raincoat attacks Ava and Danica. Instead of immediate reprisal, he exposes his face by removing his mask. It turned out that Stevie is a maniac. She reveals that she became close to Cooper at the recovery center. On the ill-fated evening, he stole the priest's car and rushed in search. Her, fearing that she and her friends would get hooked on drugs again. Having learned the name of the victim, Stevie planned revenge. With the friends separated, Stevie pursues Danica. While Ava asks Ray for help, they fight on the deck. He swims after. Armed, the attacker informs Stevie on the ship of his intentions. She was wanted, but he did not give her away. When Danica breaks free, Stevie impales her with a hook, throwing overboard. Realizing that he will not convince her, Ray shoots. Stevie is also drowning in the abyss. Ava calls Julia to tell her that Stevie was. It is unclear how the killer committed the crime. Alone, seeing an advertisement for Ray's bar, the girl felt bad. Ava and Ray get to the bar, where the girl notices wound on the owner's hand. She inflicted the same on the killer earlier. She realizes that Ray is Stevie's accomplice and wants to leave, but the door. Ray openly plans murder, and it leads to Ava almost defeated her opponent, snatching the knife as she approached. Luca arrives to Julia. Inside, she meets a girl. A blade is visible in her back. Soon the former spouse appears. He admits that what happened to them almost 30 years ago. This will remain in my memory forever. So he decided to repeat the massacre, becoming a copycat, the first killer fisherman. And by killing them both, he will shift the blame onto his ex-wife. The overly detailed story is interrupted by an arrow through and through. Ave managed to take the underwater gun, hunt, and shoot. At that moment, the waves carried Danica's corpse to the shore. She woke up after thinking for a while. Later, the friends leave the hospital and go to the beach. They decide what to do with the surviving Stevie. They have a murder conspiracy. It seems like a laugh, but the truth is possible. Not the end. In the epilogue, Julie finds a letter with a threat. It's not over yet. This is not the final yet. She visits Carla Wilson, another survivor, but already in another massacre, to ask for help in finding a new one. This is where the film ends.